My father supported his fiancée's scheme to oust me from my own home. My dad sided with his fiancée's plot to kick me out of my house. They took it to court, but I flipped the script with undeniable evidence. Now he's pleading for my forgiveness. Here's the story. My dad moved in his soon-to-be bride who got pregnant and insisted I vacate my room for her needs. I told her, "Ma'am, I'm the homeowner." What's good, Reddit? My father's gold-digging fiancée settled in with her two troublesome kids. After revealing her pregnancy, she tried to boot me from my own property. Her smug grin faded when I informed her I held the deed. What unfolded was pure chaos. Here's how it went down. This saga kicked off 9 years ago when my mom passed away from cancer. I, a 21-year-old guy, was just 12 at the time. My dad was a mess, and no one knew what to do with me. Fortunately, my grandparents lived on a sizable plot of land just outside the city, in a house that was worn but structurally sound. After Mom's death, it made sense for me to stay with my grandparents. Dad would visit on weekends or holidays. The house was sturdy, 4 bedrooms, a couple of bathrooms, a spacious kitchen, and 3 acres of land bordering some woods. But Dad's true nature started showing. Even as a kid, I noticed his need for control. Everything had to follow his rules, his schedule, his approval. He'd show up and start reorganizing, telling Grandpa how to maintain the property and making decisions about my life without consulting anyone. My best friend Leo lived 10 minutes away, so I wasn't totally isolated. He's been my rock since we built forts in those woods. Here's where things get juicy. My mom was an only child, and so am I. When my grandparents' health declined a few years back, guess who was the sole heir in their will? Yup, me. I inherited everything when Grandpa passed. The house, the land, his old, beat-up pickup that miraculously still runs, and a decent chunk of savings. Dad used Mom's life insurance money to fix up parts of the house over the years, acting like he was doing me a massive favor. I learned about the inheritance when the lawyer called after Grandpa's funeral. Dad was right there when I took the call. His face wasn't guilty or embarrassed, just annoyed, like my existence was an inconvenience. Leo was there too, sorting through Grandpa's tools. When Dad walked off, Leo said, "So you own the house now? Damn, Thanksgiving's gonna be weird." We never talked about it. Dad acted like it didn't happen, still playing the role of the man in charge, dictating everything from TV choices to when I could have friends over. About 2 years after Mom's death, he started dating again. Nothing serious at first, just casual coffee dates. Then, 6 months ago, he dropped a bombshell. He had a serious girlfriend, Samantha, a 30-year-old preschool teacher with 2 kids under 10 and enough emotional baggage to fill a therapist's office. Samantha had this polished, professional mom vibe, spotless white SUV, athleisure outfits, and unsolicited opinions about organic food. Her kids, Logan and Qley, had names straight out of a country club directory and were perfectly groomed little terrors. The first time Dad brought her over, she walked around like she was appraising the place, muttering about what needed fixing. I caught her snooping through cabinets, checking expiration dates in the pantry. "Your grandmother had such unique taste," she said, tracing the vintage wallpaper. "It's so lived-in." Her tone made lived-in sound like a polite jab for shabby, but Dad lapped it up. "Samantha has amazing design sense," he gushed, as if she'd just praised a masterpiece. Her kids were worse. Logan, around 8, touched everything he wasn't supposed to, staring me down. Qley, 6, accidentally knocked over Grandma's favorite plant and blamed me for putting it in her reach. When I mentioned it, Samantha laughed it off. Kids will be kids. They're just excited to explore such a big house. Leo caught the end of their visit and after they left, looked at the rearranged throw pillows. "Well, she seems delightful," he said. "Nothing screams I'm not redecorating your life like moving furniture on day 1. Dad was hooked, splurging on dates, new clothes, even whitening his teeth. A classic midlife crisis minus the sports car. Instead, he found a ready-made family. Samantha played him perfectly, seeking his opinion on everything, making him feel like the ultimate provider. 3 months in, she was practically living with us. Her stuff appeared in Dad's bathroom, her SUV was always in the driveway, and her kids had claimed the guest room like permanent residents. The kids went from angels to menaces once they settled in. Logan accidentally broke my things, acting confused when I got upset. Qley rummaged through my room when I wasn't home, denying it when caught. Samantha's response to my complaints. A pitying look and, "Maybe you're not used to kids." Dad always took her side, telling me to ease up because they're just kids. By month 4, Samantha dropped the guest act, acting like the lady of the manor. She rearranged furniture while Dad was at work, replaced Grandma's dish towels with her organic cotton ones, and tossed food she didn't like for pricey organic substitutes. Her boldest move, treating me like an unwelcome guest in my own home. She offered to rent me an apartment at a discount, $1,200 instead of the $1,500 market rate. A steal for someone in your situation, she said. She had plans to make the house functional for a growing family. My room would be the nursery and her mother would take the guest room. I looked at Dad, expecting him to speak up. Nothing. He just nodded along, so I played along to see how far they'd go. Interesting, I'll think about it. Samantha's smile tightened. Don't wait too long, it's best for everyone. I texted Leo for an emergency drink run. He arrived, saw my face, and said, "You look like someone ruined your day. Spill." I told him everything. "Classic," he said. "Nothing says family like evicting the homeowner for Grandma." 2 weeks after her pregnancy announcement, I came home from classes to find Samantha in my room, packing my stuff into boxes like I'd already agreed to leave. She was wrapping my mom's photos in newspaper, boxing my books like it was a garage sale. When I demanded to know what she was doing, she smiled brightly. "Hi, sweetie, just helping you get a head start on packing. Your father and I decided it's better to move you sooner rather than later." "Nobody asked me," I said. She kept that syrupy tone. "Honey, you've had 2 weeks to think. This is the best solution for everyone." She held up one of Mom's framed photos. "Some of this stuff could use an update. You can't cling to childhood forever." I told her to put it down and get out. She switched to her preschool teacher voice. "No need to be rude. I'm helping you transition to adult life. This is exciting, your own place." When I repeated my demand, her mask dropped. "Listen, little boy," she snapped. "I'm pregnant with your father's child. This house needs to work for a real family, not some overgrown teen who can't grow up. Pack your stuff, or your father will explain why this isn't negotiable." I pointed out it was my house. She ignored me, saying they'd paid a deposit on an apartment and movers were coming Monday. They'd signed a lease without asking me. Dad walked in, his expression confirming this was their plan. "Dad, what is this?" I asked. "We decided to rip the Band-Aid off," he said. "You've been stalling, so we made the decision for you." I asked what happened if I refused. His face hardened. They'd pack my stuff and put it in storage. I was an adult now, and this house was for families, not overgrown kids. Samantha added I had until Sunday. The cleaning lady needed time to prep for the nursery furniture. I started recording on my phone, asking them to repeat their plan to evict me from my house. Dad's face reddened. "Put that away. This is a family matter, not social media drama." I kept recording, asking them to clarify. Samantha snapped that the house belonged to the family, and I couldn't hold everyone hostage over a paperwork technicality. I asked Dad whose name was on the deed. Silence. He admitted it was mine, but tried to add a but. I cut him off. "No buts, this was my house, and they were trying to evict me." Samantha's face cycled through emotions before landing on panic. "That can't be right. You're just a student." I showed her my phone. "This student owns the house, land, everything." She sat on my bed, clutching one of my books. "But your father pays for everything, utilities, upkeep." "Yeah," I said, "on my property like a tenant. He renovated it with Mom's life insurance money to improve my house." Her face paled as her plan unraveled. Dad's voice turned sharp. "Fine, it's your house, but you're 21, my son, and you'll do what I say." I refused. He said, "We'll see about that," and stormed out. Samantha sat there, staring at the boxes like they were evidence of a crime. "This is insane," she said. "Families don't work like this." "You're right," I replied. "Families don't steal each other's homes," she glared. "You have no idea what you've done. I'm pregnant and we need this house more than you." I suggested she should have asked nicely. "This isn't over," she said. I texted Leo about going nuclear. They'd tried packing my stuff without permission. He asked how they took the ownership bombshell. "As expected," I said. "Dad's having a meltdown and Samantha's plan just crashed." I spent the weekend researching, not studying. Leo came over Saturday with coffee and his laptop for war counsel. We looked into tenant rights, eviction laws, and property rules. Since Dad and Samantha had established residency without a lease, they were tenants at will. I could terminate their stay with 30 days' notice. If they refused, I could file for eviction. Better yet, I could sue for fair market rent for their entire stay, $200,000 for Dad's 9 years, $15,000 for Samantha's 6 months. Leo whistled. "That's some pricey freeloading." Monday, I filed paperwork at the courthouse. Tuesday, I consulted a lawyer. Wednesday, I printed eviction notices. Thursday, I called a family meeting. Dad was still in alpha mode. If this is about your attitude, I don't want to hear it. I opened the folder. It's about your housing. You're both evicted 30 days to vacate. Silence. Dad read the notice like it was ancient script. What is this? An eviction notice, I said. He exploded, calling me ungrateful. Samantha shrieked it was illegal to evict a pregnant woman. I explained they were tenants at will with no lease, giving them fewer rights. Dad ranted about his sacrifices. I countered he could now find his own housing. Samantha spotted the back rent clause and whispered, "What's this?" I explained the lawsuit for unpaid rent. $200,000 for Dad, $15,000 for her. Their faces drained. I offered to drop the suit if they left within 30 days and signed a no-claims agreement. Dad sat down, stunned. $200,000. That's what 9 years in a 4-bedroom costs, I said. Samantha wailed about homelessness and her pregnancy. Not my problem, I replied. You should have thought before trying to steal my house. Dad asked where they'd go. I suggested Samantha's 1-bedroom apartment. She protested it couldn't fit 3 adults and 2 kids. I laughed. Her mom wasn't invited anymore. Dad begged, saying his money was tied up in my house. Samantha sobbed, accusing me of ruining their family. I pointed out her happy accident pregnancy seemed time to secure her place. Silence. Leo showed up the next day with donuts, grinning. How'd they take the notices? Crying, threats, and disbelief, I said. Dad's freaking out about owing $200,000. Justice served with paperwork, Leo said. The next month was a spectacle. Dad tried lawyer consults he couldn't afford, emotional pleas about family, and bribes to sign over the house I already owned. Samantha went rogue, complaining to my university about my unstable home, calling the police for a domestic disturbance when I asked her to move her car, and even tried CPS, claiming I made her kids' environment unsafe. That backfired when CPS questioned her judgment. Finding housing for an unemployed pregnant woman, her kids, a 52-year-old man with shaky credit, and possibly a grandmother on Dad's salary proved tough. In week 4, Dad offered to pay rent to stay. I refused. You had the chance to respect me. Instead, you tried to evict me. Samantha filed a pregnancy discrimination complaint, but the judge dismissed it, pointing out she'd tried to illegally evict the homeowner. In week 5, Dad called, sounding shaken. We need to talk about the baby. I went home. He slid paternity test results across the table. The baby's not mine. Samantha had lied. It was her ex-husband's. She'd been sleeping with him while dating Dad. He'd confronted her after a genetic test for insurance showed he couldn't be the father. She tried denying it, then claimed it didn't matter because Dad would be a better father. When that failed, she accused him of abandoning her. He gave her until that night to leave or face fraud charges. Where's Samantha now? I asked. Upstairs. She'd called me selfish for ruining her real family. I almost laughed. She was still blaming me. Dad admitted he'd screwed up, choosing a woman he barely knew over me. I know you hate me, but can we work something out? I have nowhere to go. No, I said. You chose her, called me ungrateful, and tried to steal my inheritance. You don't get to crawl back now that she's exposed. Dad flinched. It wasn't like that. It was exactly like that, I said. You got caught. He asked, what now? You move out. That night, Samantha left quietly with her kids. 2 days later, Dad rented a 1-bedroom across town, taking only his personal items, leaving behind everything he'd invested in my house. Leo came over with pizza and drinks. You ever gonna forgive him? Maybe, I said. Not today and not because he got caught. Fair, Leo said. What's next? Finish school, enjoy my house, maybe get a dog. Solid plan. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real-life stories, get more experiences.